My name is Whitney. I am a secular, eclectic homeschooling mom of two. I have two boys. One is 8 and one is 2.5. And I get a lot of questions. Even though I'm fairly new to homeschooling, I get a lot of questions about what curriculum we use. A lot of times this year especially, I created my own curriculum from scratch completely, based entirely on 3 unit studies that lasted our entire school year. The 3 unit studies were special interests of my boys, that they shared interests, and so I created an entire year-long curriculum based fully on those special interests that included all of the main subjects that we wanted to, work on, your math and your reading and your writing and, fine motor, gross motor skills, like all of that. Now that it is officially February, I have been working on planning for curriculum for next year, the 2026-27 school year. And just kind of like trying out different curriculum, seeing what I like, kind of like mix and matching things together. Because we are eclectic homeschoolers, we have like a lot of flexibility. We don't really subscribe to any one like philosophy of curriculum. We're not a Montessori family. We're not a Waldorf family, not a Charlotte Mason family. We don't unschool. And we definitely don't do like more of the traditional like school at home type of learning, meaning kind of like taking textbooks from what would be taught in traditional mainstream schools and just going through all of that textbook and worksheet type of work at home. We don't do that. And so what I do is I spend, the previous year as I'm going through our curriculum and teaching the boys and kind of getting a really good feel about where we are and where we want to go. I definitely don't really pay attention to what they would be learning at grade level or age level in mainstream school, because every child is different, and that is true whether you homeschool or whether you send your kids to a brick and mortar mainstream public school. Every child is different, and they all learn at different rates. They all learn in different ways, and the beauty of homeschool is that you can really adapt your learning to fit the learning style and the needs of each student, of each child, and you can meet them where they're at. And the whole goal is progress, right? The whole goal is personal growth. The goal of school, the goal of education should never be, I'm going to hit these standards, I'm going to hit these milestones, I'm going to hit this, I'm going to keep everybody right on track, because that's just not a realistic understanding of how education works, or how it should work, when you consider the fact that not every child is going to be able to hit those standards in the same way at the same time. And so the beauty of homeschooling is that I get to pick the curriculum, and I get to decide where we are, where we want to be, what type of curriculum is going to suit their learning styles and their learning needs, and I can go from there and I can adapt it as we go. And so I do get a lot of questions about like, oh, well, what are you planning next year? What curriculum are you choosing next year? So I'm going to go through it. So let's start with math, big one, math. So I chose 2 curriculums, and I'm going to mix and match them as we progress through the year, because I liked different lessons from both of them. And so the first one I'm going to use, it is a preschool level math curriculum. It is called Farmland math. Farmland, like with cows and farm animals. And I like this one because it is very hands-on. It is completely based on manipulatives. So I'm going to show you. This is the package that it came in. And what it has is, it's very loud. It has a mat that is, this is like a dino world, but this size has the, like a farm. It's a farm. Has a farmhouse and a pasture and, crops and a barn. And then you have the manipulatives, which are plastic, large for a child's hand especially. Larger style. This is a pig, and this is a red cow, and this is a purple sheep, green chicken. So it has these manipulatives that I'm dumping all over myself. And the curriculum book provided, if you go through it from week to week, which we will not, but it provides 36-week guide of how to use these manipulatives to build math skills. And what I loved about this is that it's all story based. So it's like, let's see, let's go for the first one. So week 1, and this is preschool level, right? And so week 1 is very basic, practice counting from 1 to 3. And so the curriculum, the story-based curriculum for this is, Byron had apple trees growing next to his pasture, and on them were the most delicious red apples, and then a cow came out. And like, so it goes through the story thing, which I think is very cool. So that is my first math curriculum that I chose. That we are going to use as more of like the basic introduction work. And then, that's the preschool level. Then this I got is a curriculum called Wild Math. And I have the kindergarten level curriculum for this. And Wild Math is a completely outdoor based math. And so you are using the outdoors to learn math. You are going out and you are creating, you know, number grids with, you know, different found items in nature, rocks and sticks and leaves and all of that. And again, this is a full year kindergarten curriculum. And so that is my math curriculum. The manipulative based, story based Farmland math, and the outdoor learning Wild Math. So moving on to our, reading, writing. Reading is kind of different because I include reading in a lot of different things, kind of like the story-based math. Like I like to integrate reading throughout subjects. So we will go with writing, phonics. So I got this. This is a wipe clean workbook. It is basically just to learn letters and writing the letters, and it's a whiteboard, like a whiteboard paper. It's a wipe clean. A wipe clean workbook. But I liked it because, you know, we can keep using it over and over and over again, and I don't have to constantly print out worksheets. And so occupational therapy, fine motor skills, writing is something that is a long-term goal. It's something that we work really hard on. It's a skill that we have not mastered yet. And so this is going to be a big part that we are just going to use over and over and over again all year long. And then this is just a fun little workbook, but it reinforces the ABCs. It has a lot of things like, it says a dot thing, so it's also really great for like OT skills, like the bingo daubers. So it's fun. It does some OT skills, and it gives us more opportunity to just talk about letters and letter sounds and all of that. So that's just kind of an add-on for fun, but I'm going to use that to go through the whole alphabet as well. So that's my writing phonics type of thing. So now, I'm huge on science. Science is my favorite subject ever. So science and history. But at this age, history is kind of a little ways off. We will do more like social studies, which I will show you. But I love science. So I'm going to go through my science books. So these are my science books, the books I chose for science. Love, love, love science. The primary book we are going to work out of specifically for science is a book. It's not actually a textbook. It's not even a curriculum. It is literally just a book that I picked up. I actually saw it on a Facebook ad, and I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's coming home with me. It's called My First Plant Book by Dr. Nicole Apelian. I think that's how you say it, Nicole Apelian. And it is fantastic. So it is kind of like quest oriented is how I would describe it. So each of the pages is about a different plant. And so just for example, this obviously coconut tree, but it tells a little bit about the coconut tree, like from a biological standpoint, like about the tree. And then it has like fun history about the tree, or like, did you know? And then it gives, for everyone, it gives like an art project or something that, a science experiment or something you can do to kind of expand upon the learning. You know, so for wheat, you know, it goes through different types of like, where would we find wheat? Like what kind of food? Like, you know, and then my first bread. So you're going to bake bread is the experiment there. For the radish, you have a science experiment, a color changing experiment, and then you have a make your own dye experience. And so I love this because it has a ton of different, 54 different plants. And so I picked and chose, and I have actually developed out our entire like week by week lesson plan for next year. And I pick and chose based on the time of year and what I thought we could readily find outside or like go out exploring or find at farmers markets or whatever, just based on, you know, seasonal availability. But very excited for that. And as I go through and I'm building out lesson plans, I will take like something from our text and then I'll find like activities online or coloring pages that are available for free online. I use YouTube a lot. There are a few different YouTube channels that are very science-based and very accessible for young children. And they have like tons of, just a huge library of videos. And so I build out our day lesson plans based on, you know, whatever I choose from one of our textbooks. So that's our main, like, you know, our main science is we're gonna do plant ecology is that. Now on top of that, because I want the kids to start kind of building more like scientific skills around like, you know, hypotheses. What is a hypothesis? You know, what type of like methodology do we go through as we're building out our science experiments, and what exactly is a lab? Like, what is lab science? Like some of those very, very basic skills, but things that we can build on, you know, as we go and as they get older. And so on top of our like basic plant book, Plant Ecology, I have this. It is Ecology for Kids. It's by the kitchen pantry scientist, Leslie Heinecke. And it is also a fantastic book. It is a lab book, all science labs. And they're very, very easy. Kitchen pantry scientists, like it's the ingredients and like the things that you need are very simple, and you probably have most of them around your house already. And what I really like about this, because I have two little white boys, and what I love about this is that with every experiment, the author includes the biography of a scientist that basically, you know, illustrates that or demonstrates that, or their work demonstrates the particular lesson in that lab. And she does a really, really good job of highlighting scientists that are very diverse. And so this is great because, let's see here. Let me see a good one. Okay. So for this one, she highlighted Dora. Dora I don't know how to say her name. Dora Prelo Henry. So she gives a biography. Why her work was important, and then the project that is connected to her work is building a barnacle model. And we're actually not going to do that one because that requires a little bit more fine motor skills than we're ready for. But again, I go through and I pick and choose based on things that I think will be is at our degree of understanding, you know, and things that we can physically accomplish just based on fine motor, gross motor skills, you know, whatever is needed to do that project. So awesome series. There's a whole series. This is ecology for kids, but there's a chemistry for kids, biology, physics, and math for kids. They are all very hands-on. They're all kind of designed in the same way, highlighting a scientist or practitioner in that area of study, and highly recommend. So that is kind of our lab science book that I'm using to supplement our other basic book. And then kind of every couple of weeks we go into like a deeper study that is very project based and hands-on, and I pull those from different sorts of areas. It can be online or just kind of like things I see in the community that I'm like, hey, I'm gonna build a project around that. But it is almost always because it is my interest, based on like environmental education, so like outdoor learning. And my boys both love that kind of stuff, like being out in nature, the environment, going out, you know, into the forest. And so it's easy for me to kind of build, you know, 2 or 3 day long kind of like deeper project-based hands-on studies. And so what I found was I frequent Goodwill because they have so many books that you can get for super cheap. And a lot of them are curriculum books that teachers or librarians will dump off at Goodwill, and you know, you can get them for like $1.25 and they're great. So I picked up these ones. These are very old, but they had great projects in them, and they were like well-developed projects. Like the projects were really laid out well. So I picked them up. This is just Earthbook for Kids, activities to help heal the environment. So I found a couple projects in there that I then developed out further. And then this is Good Earth Art. So it is environmental art for kids. So just to incorporate more hands-on activities and more just creative thinking and art for kids. Okay, now cultural studies. Cultural studies is really important to my family, again, because I want to raise kids that are open and inclusive and welcoming and just good people. So my 2-year-old goes to a Spanish preschool program. We listen to a lot of Spanish books, Spanish videos in the home. So I'm really hoping to, you know, continue his learning towards, you know, picking up Spanish language at a young age. So with that in mind, I decided that we were going to focus our cultural studies next year on the South and Central American countries. And so I thought it would be fun because my boys love cooking. Their dad is a cook. So I picked up a couple cookbooks that were Latin American inspired cookbooks. And I thought this would be fun to go through like country by country and just kind of experiment with some of their foods, learn a little bit about each of the countries, and plus recipes are great for obviously like hands-on sensory exploration, but also math because you're adding ingredients. And so I'm like, okay, this is a great way to get more math in as well. So this, I actually found this one at a free little library walking down the street, but it's Dora and Diego's like Let's Cook cookbooks. And this is more, I'm gonna say fun, less culturally probably tied to any Latin American, South American, Central American country, and more just like goes along with the theme of Dora the Explorer, which is fine because, especially for my 2-year-old, you know, it's super fun, you know, and it's cute and stuff. So we're gonna work a little bit from that just because I think it'll really tie in his interests. But our main thing that we're gonna do is this book. It's called Gaby's Latin American Kitchen. And what I love about this is that she went through and she would create for each recipe. She would say, you know, what country, not that it probably originates in several countries, all of these recipes, because, you know, borders are fluid and all of that. But she basically assigned a country to each of the recipes, and then she went into a little bit about, you know, what it is and why it's culturally relevant, and, you know, how it's enjoyed or how it, you know, became important to that country. So like this one, this is one that she says it would be, she assigned to Panama. You know, and she went into, you know, just different ways to eat it, how it might appear in the United States versus, you know, traditionally, and just makes it very, very easy for kids. Like, they're very easy recipes. What's another one here? Let's see, what's a good one? Yeah, here, lentil stew. She assigned it to Argentina. And again, talked about, you know, this one she ate when she was growing up, so she talked about how she ate it. And so what I did was we basically are going to do 1 to 2 countries per month next year. And for each of the days that we're going to do it, we're not going to do it every day, like probably maybe once a week. But for each of the days that we're going to do it, I chose a recipe. Whatever country the recipes we're going to do that month. I found videos about that country that were, you know, geared towards young kids, and music from that country, or, you know, whatever I could find online, or maps, or just interesting tidbits, right? So that we can then learn about the country, learn about their flag, learn about, you know, their history as it is, you know, bite-sized, understandable for young kids, and then cook something from that country. So that's going to be kind of our cultural studies, we'll call. And then I also found global art. So this is activities, projects, and inventions from around the world. And it's literally just art projects that they've tied to different countries around the world. And so where there is a crossover with the countries that we are going to be cooking from, we're also going to be doing some art and talking about, you know, the cultural aspects of art and how that plays into, you know, whatever it is that we're learning about per that country. So there's that. And then lastly, this is mine. For each month, I have created small opportunities for unit-based studies, mostly because I wanted to supplement with topics that are often touched upon in kind of grade level appropriate settings in mainstream schools, but are harder to find, like, curriculum per se that would be kind of, you know, short, bite size, that are like cross-curricular or cross-subject. So like when I build unit studies, I want to make sure that they incorporate, like, I still want to work on our writing, I still want to work on math, I still want to work on reading, but I want to do so within that holistic theme. And so a lot of times I'll just create my own because it's easy, and so much online is free now, and I can just pick a topic and I can go through and I can say, okay, for this topic, we're going to do, you know, this video from YouTube, and we're going to do this science experiment, and then we're going to go visit this place in our local community, and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to do, you know, this project because it works on fine motor skills, and it works on, you know, using markers to draw straight lines or crooked lines or go up and down or, you know, swivel or whatever. We're going to work on these cutting skills, you know, in our math and our matching and all of that. So for each month, I chose a different subject, and I created a 3 to 5 day mini curriculum unit on that subject. And so for September, we're doing the solar system, and for October, we're doing like kind of like me on a map. So just like understanding your world, you know, what is my family, what are families, what do other families look like, you know, what is a community, you know, what is my state, like, you know, building kind of that outward perspective. In November, we're working on, our theme is community helpers, you know, and so we're going to do, for one day, you know, we'll do There's a video that talks about what is trash collection. You know, a day in the life of a trash truck driver, which my toddler will be all over. But then I have, you know, like worksheets that involve math for, you know, like counting the trucks and, you know, matching the trucks and, you know, creating the truck routes and doing all of that. And so then for December, our unit will be on, we're doing one on trains, which is actually great because it includes so much math. I found so many great math worksheets that are trains involved because, I mean, come on, so many little boys love trains. For January, we're doing Arctic animals, which again was a very easy one. And that one actually includes a ton of reading and writing. A lot of little like storybooks, picture books, putting it together, you know, just like reading about different Arctic animals. February, we're doing a build it, I guess. I'll say build it month. So I thought it would be a great way just to kind of take a break, actually, but also, you know, building, it's a lot of creative thinking, it's a lot of problem solving. And so I found a lot of different like building tools and building projects and building items for preschool stuff online. And so, you know, we're going to use egg cartons to build with blocks, and we're going to obviously use Legos. We're going to make our own bricks, mud bricks, which is going to be a great sensory project. You know, we're going to build birdhouses and fairy houses out of clay, and just getting our hands dirty and having fun will be our unit study in February. March is all about garbage trucks, recycling, composting. We're just going to do a whole thing on garbage trucks. And then for that too, it's a great opportunity to kind of tie it to some more project-based learning that we're going to do around sustainability and just taking care of our planet, because every child should be learning that. And then kind of our last unit study I planned for April, and it's going to be a whole week long, like 5 days of just famous artists. And so we're going to learn about the artists, we're going to enjoy the artist's art, and then we are going to do just tons and tons and tons of art. There's lots of different ways that teachers online have said, like, hey, try recreating, you know, this aspect of, you know, Monet's water lilies using these materials. So we're going to explore, we're going to have fun, and just create art as a last unit study for our year. And so, yeah, that is my binder, and that is my curriculum, and it's going to be a fun year. I'm very excited.